Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Championship Prediction League. I'm joined by Oli Mann this week. And Oli, the score update, actually a good week for you at the start of January before the FA Cup weekend, mate. You got 9 points, which is your best week in a while. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, I've been rubbish for so long. It's quite nice to just say, "Oh, you got 9. I'll take it. I'm still bottom. I'm still not quite clawing it back, but I will take the 9 points for this week."
It's 9 points for you. Gab only got 5 and I got 7. Puts you on 68, Gab on 72, and I'm up on 95. And I don't want to get carried away, but it's looking good for me. It's looking good as we enter January, and there's only 20 games to go. Game week 27 we are on now. We'll run through all of the championship games this weekend, give our predictions. It's 5 points, and Ollie, you're going to have to start going for those bonus points, mate. If you predict a correct score with 5 goals or more, it's 3 points for a correct score, and it's 1 point for a correct result. Starting with a wonderful Friday night fixture, I think. West Brom versus Middlesbrough, and a new manager in the dugout in Eric Ramsey at the Hawthorns. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one. You know, it's been coming, that managerial change, hasn't it? There was constant speculation for so long. West Brom fans have disliked Ryan Mason for so long that it really felt as though they had to have that change. Having Ramsey's first game being at home, I think, is massive for them. I think they'll want to get back in. They'll want to get behind him. They'll want to say, look, draw a line under Ryan Mason. Let's go again. But I just don't think this is the game for that. Borough had their own poor patch, but actually, when you go back through each of those games, they were really unlucky to lose most of them. They should have picked up more points than they did. If you looked at it and said they'd have got 6 points from the 4 games when they had that sort of winless run, they'd be tied with Coventry up at the top of this league. So they're really not that far off. I think they will find their scoring boots. I'm backing a 3-1 Borough win in this one.
Wow, 3-1 Borough. I've gone for the same. Oh, it's so hard with a new manager, isn't it? Because he could start like a house on fire and they could just come out the blocks absolutely firing. I think they'll be improved, but I think Borough are a really, really good team. Definitely one of the top 3 teams in the league. So I've gone for a 2-1 Borough win in the Friday night game, which brings us to a big game Saturday lunchtime. Coventry versus Leicester. Massive game from a Cov point of view. I mean, if we can't beat Leicester at home, I'm seriously worried about us throwing it away in this extended run of form. We've talked about the fixture congestion and the illness and all of those excuses we've had. And now we're out the FA Cup and there's 20 games to go and that's it. If we get, 10 to 12 wins, we'll be almost there. Winning the home games is massively important. I'm going to let you give a little prediction before I give my score because I'm going to talk myself into a big home win and I need a bit of thinking time.
Yeah, it is absolutely squeaky bum time at the moment. It is one of those where it's felt as though that's just being chipped away. Like I said there, it's really variance going against Borough that has stopped them being joint with you at the top of the league, which shows just how much you've been clawed back in by that chasing pack. It'll be a 5-point lead if Ipswich win their game in hand, and that does start to feel a lot tighter than maybe it did a few weeks ago. But good news, Si, Leicester are rubbish. So I am backing a home win. I don't think it's going to be easy. I do think it'll be twitchy at times, but I'm going to go 2-1 to Coventry. They've proved themselves the best team in the league this year. They're going to get back to that stage.
I was also going to go for a 2-1, but I don't like copying the scores. I'll go 3-1 in that case. I won't be the same as you. Unlikely to keep a clean sheet, let's be honest. And Fatu is always likely to find the net from some position. But yeah, got to win. I think we will win. A couple of other early kickoffs, Ipswich versus Blackburn. And after a couple of false starts and frozen pitches and frustration for Ipswich, I think is now the time they really start to get going. I'm back in a decent home win here. Blackburn can pull a result out of nowhere. I think Valerian Ismail is a reasonably good manager, but they're in a massive relegation battle here. I think I'm going to go quite heavy on Ipswich. I'm going to go 3-0 Ipswich. Ollie, what about you?
I am going to change what I've got written down on my notes. I will go 3-1 in that case to Ipswich. I'm giving Blackburn a consolation goal late on. I did wonder whether or not I could predict Ipswich to be 1-0 up playing against 10 men with about 5 minutes left and then it gets abandoned. But surely that cannot be the outcome.
Ollie, you can have 10 points, all right, if that happens.
Deal. I need the 10 points. I might have to go for it. 3-1 to Ipswich. I just think they're a much better team than Blackburn. And this finally has to be their moment to just kick on and ride their way back to the Premier League, I think.
Blackburn only 4 points above the relegation zone as we record, by the way, and Norwich occupying that final relegation spot. So very interesting indeed. And arguably the game of the weekend, I think, for me, is Watford versus Millwall, both in the playoffs right now. Watford having won 4 games in a row. This should be an amazing game of football. What do you reckon, Ollie?
Yeah, do you know what's funny? Obviously, Watford, amazing run of form. Millwall having a fantastic season, flying in the playoffs. But how often do two teams play each other, having lost their last game 5-1? Of course, both
their
teams
pick-up exits.
absolutely battered in the FA Cup. Quite bizarre, really, when you look at the seasons these two teams are having, that they were the outcomes as they went up, in Millwall's case, at least against Premier League opposition. I'm finding this one difficult to predict, so I'm going to go on league form. 4 wins in a row for Watford, unbeaten in 7. Millwall are going to make it so difficult. They're going to make it so hard for them to break it down, but they're at home. Javi Gracia has got something absolutely working for him at the moment. I'm saying 2-1 for Watford in this one.
We're very close, and I was going to also say 2-1. By the way, Watford, third best home record in the league. 28 points out of 13 games is the exact same record as Ipswich Town at Portman Road this season. Only Coventry have a better points record at home with 29 points from their home game. So they're incredible at Vicarage Road, averaging 2.15 points per game. And I think that will see them over the line here. So I might go for the bonus points, I'm going to go Watford 3, Millwall 2. In a very un-Alex Neil Millwall defensive performance. I think they might open up a bit and go for it. I'll go for the bonus points. Why not? Let's have a bit of fun. Anyway, Southampton versus Hull City. I'll pass you over to our Hull City hater correspondent, Oli Mann.
Hi, Oli Mann here, just coming in from the Hull Haters podcast. It's been a really interesting one. It's been quite humbling at times being anti-Hull City, but you still look at that underlying data and they are not a good football team. I will beat this drum all day long. They are effective. They are winning games. They are entertaining. They are probably the great entertainers of the Championship, but that does not translate into being a long-term, sustainable, good football team. But this game to me just screams goals. I looked at a little bit of the data. Hull, 25 games so far this season. There's been 78 goals. Southampton, 26 games, 76 goals. These are two teams who score loads, concede loads. It is just so much fun watching these two. This is my game of the weekend because absolutely this is the one to watch if you just want to be entertained and have a great time watching football. I'm going to go for a draw here. They both average 3 goals per game, so let's go 3-3. I want my bonus points. I think this will be an absolute classic.
That's what I'd written down as well. We haven't discussed these score predictions, guys, by the way, before we come on here, and you're taking the words out of my mouth, and your stats are so convincing. I won't go for a 3-3 though. I'm going to instead go for, I might go something really, really bonkers. Let's go Southampton 4, Hull City 3. Oh, I nearly said 5 then. I
heard your voice go.
No, I think Southampton have got the players to do it. I think Hull are brilliantly entertaining, but let's go for a 4-3 and I'll try and one-up you there with some bonus points. Sheffield Wednesday versus Portsmouth. Big game for Portsmouth this one. They have to win it, really. I mean, you're playing against Sheffield Wednesday. Every team's looking to win these games. But interestingly for Portsmouth, and the only team that can say this season, Sheffield Wednesday might do the double over them, Ollie, having beaten them at Fratton Park. Portsmouth simply have to go there and win. Otherwise, they're in massive, massive trouble. I will predict them to go and do that because it's the safe bet when they're playing Sheffield Wednesday. But I'm nervous for John Mousinho's men going there. I'm not sure if Murphy will be back for this one. It's massively important they get the 3 points. I'm going to back them to win this 2-1 in a really disgusting fashion late on. What about you?
Controversial. But you said Wednesday have already beaten Portsmouth this season, the only team they've already beaten this season. Portsmouth are also the only team in the league who have a worse away record than Sheffield Wednesday do. They would be 24th in the away league table. Josh Murphy might miss this game. He might be out injured. And after I thought Portsmouth had potentially turned a corner, they went and got absolutely embarrassed at Bristol City. I think they're vulnerable. I think they're in a really sticky position. I think Mousinho himself is in a really vulnerable position. And I'm going to do it. Wednesday 2, Portsmouth 2-1.
Wow. Yes, the Sheffield United fan backing a Sheffield Wednesday win. Who would have seen that coming this season? Positive for Sheffield Wednesday fans, by the way, is they have had a week to prepare for this game, which is a rarity, and that does help their squad. They could do it. If Portsmouth lose this, I'm writing them off, I think. That is just a massive, massive game at the bottom of the Championship. Preston versus Derby, from the whole City hater, I think I'll have to take on the moniker of the Preston hater, because I keep writing them off, and they're fourth in the league. Unbelievable, Paul Heckingbottom. They've won back-to-back games now. They're looking very, very good. Did lose at home to Wigan in the FA Cup, but I don't think they'll be that bothered after the way it kind of derailed their season when they got to the quarterfinals against Aston Villa last year. They almost got relegated because of that, basically. Good win at Bristol City last time out. And I always back against them, so maybe this is the time that I should back Preston to win a game of football. Yeah, I think I will. I think I've been unimpressed relatively with Derby this season. I'm going to go for a very steady 1-0 Preston win. Ollie, you agreeing with me there about Preston?
Yeah, handshake, 1-0 Preston win, and I'm not changing this one. It's one of my more confident predictions of the week. We did our mid-season predictions with Gab Sutton on the EFL debate yesterday with Johnny from Borough Breakdown as well. And the more we talked about it, everybody seemed to write off Preston for the top six. But I fancy them. I think they are a team with an unbelievable consistency. They don't chuck in shockers. They don't go and put in a 10 out of 10. They are consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get out of Preston. And more often than not, that's being on the right side of tough games. If they're not on the right side of it, they make sure they don't lose it, pick up so many draws. A 1-0 home win feels like a banker to me. That's where I'm at.
And we've previewed one new manager into the Championship for this weekend with West Brom. It's the time for the other one now. Oxford United have hired Matt Bloomfield, formerly of Wycombe and Luton, and they host Bristol City this weekend. Bristol City, the team, of course, who hammered Watford 5-1 in the FA Cup. Yep. On the fringes of the playoffs and looking quite good. But I didn't back West Brom to get a new manager bounce. And I think I might back Oxford to get a shock result here. Bristol City hammered Portsmouth, didn't they, at home? And then they lost at home to Preston. Then they've hammered Watford at home. Away from home, just a bit less consistent. I think I'm going to go for a 3-1 Oxford win. The Matt Bloomfield revolution starts now, Ollie.
Yeah, I have got a 2-1 Oxford United win. I don't know what we're doing to each other. I've had to go for Wednesday to win. It's the only way I can get any points.
I thought this was a bit of a surprise, but maybe we're just too predictable.
I've got written down, I'm going to back an upset, but not the biggest of the weekend, knowing that I was coming to Wednesday. And then you've back with me. I mean, what is that about? Maybe I should back the Bristol City upset going away and getting a huge result at Oxford. But no, I think long term, do I think Bloomfield is an improvement on Rowett? I don't think he gives them a better chance of staying in the division. I don't think he gives them a better chance of being a long-term sustainable Championship club. But first game in charge at home, it's a really horrible game for Bristol City. And I think you back the home win here. So yeah, 2-1 to Oxford.
Stoke QPR up next 3 p.m. on Saturday. And Stoke looking improved. They've won the last two league games and then beat Coventry in the FA Cup. Just looking like a pretty functional team yet again under Mark Robbins. I think they might not have what it takes to challenge the playoffs in the longer term towards the end of the season. But I do fancy them here. I think their home form's important. I think Mobama's looking good. I think Sorba Thomas is a great player. QPR, I've never quite got on board with as much as a few of the others. I know they've got a lot of exciting attacking talent, but they concede quite a few goals, sitting in 11th. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Stoke win on this one.
Yeah, 2-0 Stoke for me. Stoke have got the best defence in the league. Those wins that we've just talked about, 3 in a row. I think it's 3 in a row to 0. They don't concede many. They don't give up many chances. QPR are a really streaky team. And when you actually look at their recent run, take Sheffield Wednesday out of it, I think they've lost. If we ignore the Wednesday game, they've lost 3 in a row. If you don't ignore it, they've lost 3 and 4. Depends how you do your stats. I think that streak will continue. So another defeat here. Yeah, 2-0 for Stoke for me.
I like the look of this game up next, by the way. Wrexham host Norwich. Wrexham 4 wins in a row, and then they went and beat Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup on penalties. Norwich, we've been singing their praises under Philippe Clement, but their recent form, I know, okay, they beat Walsall, hammered them in the FA Cup, but they did lose at Stoke before that, and they lost at home to Watford, let's not forget. They did beat QPR away from home on New Year's Day. I think I'm back in Wrexham, as I have done pretty consistently throughout this season. I think they've got real momentum now. I think it's time for them to take advantage of the January transfer window if they can and make any additions they need to. Because I think that 6th place, as I argued on Gab Sutton's EFL debate show, is well open for them to go and claim. I think Norwich, we all presume they're going to climb out of danger and climb out of the bottom 3. And although I do believe that, I do think that's also a bit of a dangerous precedent to set. We just think they'll do it without putting any of the work in. Josh Sargent texting that he don't want to play. Mm-hmm. Who knows if he wants to be there this weekend? Very unlikely is my guess. I'm going to go Wrexham 3, Norwich 1.
Ooh, see, teams don't win every week. Whoever you are, you don't win every week.
Did you watch Coventry earlier in the season, Oli?
Yeah. And now look what happened.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying. So I think very much, earlier on we talked about Watford 4 wins in a row. I backed them to go and get 5 in a row. Do I think that Wrexham will match that? Now, that's a really interesting question for me. Do I think they can go and get their, I think it's 5 in a row if they win this one. I don't think they'll pick up another win here. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's one that I'm backing for goals. Norwich, I think, have turned it around in a really impressive way, but they've got to now go and do the hard work, pick up the points, get themselves away from the relegation zone. I'm going to go goals again, 3-2 Norwich.
Oh, there's the bonus points he's gone for as well with those 5 goals. That'll be a massive performance. Macabre, is it? I always get his name wrong. Up front now, scoring plenty of goals. Hat-trick again in the FA Cup.
I think you'll find it's Kieramgard.
That was from a previous show, wasn't it? An absolute stinker. Charlton, Sheffield United. We must come on to this one. You're feeling quite confident about Sheffield United if you haven't heard from Oli recently. He thinks they can get into the playoffs. They are averaging 2 points a game recently under Chris Wilder, I believe, or close to it. Nathan Jones loves to do a job on Chris Wilder's teams, though, I believe. What do you reckon, Oli?
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Jones has always been a man who can get one over on Wilder. He used to do it all the time when we had to play against Luton. But this one's a really interesting game for me. United, like I said, I think it's over the last 10 games, we've won 22 points, so 2.2 points per game. I think if the season started today, I would be backing us to be in the top 3, top 4 teams in the league. I think we would be putting up automatic promotion numbers from now on because I do believe we are that good. I think keeping Patrick Bamford is a massive statement, and it means that we still have that sort of focal point who has driven us up the field and made us so much better in terms of the way that we've been able to go forward. The partnership at the back, Tanganga, is really starting to look like the defender we knew he was going to be when we signed him. So all things are pointing upwards right now for United. I argued strongly that we should be 6th in our mid-season predictions. I've managed to win Gab over, much to the dismay of yourself and Johnny from Borough Breakdown. But we have to prove that, because as much as I said that, I said United are going to finish 6th. I said Charlton are going to get relegated. If Charlton win this game of football, they will be joint on points with Sheffield United this weekend. And that is how mad this division can be at times. I think we have to prove ourselves. We have to react to that sort of really embarrassing performance against Mansfield at the weekend, albeit I do think we'll probably make 11 changes from the team that played that game. I think we'll get a reaction. Wilder is really good at getting a reaction out of his team. I'm backing a 3-1 United win.
I think Sheffield United have done very well this season not to draw that many games, if that makes any sense to anybody watching this. 10 wins, 13 losses, 2 draws, and that's how you climb the table, winning games, not settling for draws. However, I think Charlton are very good at home. They don't lose many games at home, so I'm going to back Sheffield United to drop points here and go for a 1-1 draw. You won't be happy with that.
That would be, just as a fun stat to add in, Sheffield United, I believe, are the first team in English football history to not draw a single away game throughout a calendar year. Don't believe we drew any in 2025, and you would be backing us to draw our first of 2026.
So you do one. You do one. That's how it works for me. That's what I reckon. And we round off with Swansea versus Birmingham. I'm going to keep my prediction very quick here. Birmingham, horrendous on the road, really, really bad away side. Swansea, really good at home, like winning games 1-0, and that's what I'm going to go for here. 1-0, Vita Matas masterclass. I think they're really good at home. I think Birmingham are dreadful away from home. What do you reckon, Oli?
Birmingham are so bad away from home, need I say more? 2-0 to Swansea for me.
That's bad for Birmingham, by the way, and I think Chris Davis, they got that win over Coventry, but then the pressure starts to come back on them if they don't win this game, and we'll have to wait and see. Oli, thank you very much for joining me yet again. We'll see how we get on and come back to our score predictions, because we've got a 3-game week coming up as well, haven't we? So we'll get back together and discuss the scores there. Please do get your score predictions and thoughts in the comments down below. But that's it for this episode, and we'll see you next